Prema Sankirtan. This is a new level. Avatari Chaitanya Koilo Dharma Pracharan Kali Kali Dharma Krishna Nama Sankirtan. In this age of Kali, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has descended to preach the religion of Krishna consciousness. Therefore, the chanting of the holy names of Lord Krishna is the religious principle for this age. Sankirtan Yagyatare Kore Aradan Seto Sumidar Kalihatajan. Anyone who worships Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by congregational chanting should be understood to be very intelligent. One who does not do so must be considered a victim of this age and bereft of all intelligence. Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sangopangashta Parshadam Yagyaya Sankirtana Prayer Yajantihi Sumedasa. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead who constantly sings the name of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. Rajakoye Shastra Pramane Chaitanya Honna Krishna Tabe Kene Pandit Sab Tahate Vichishna. So, Sarvabhauma is quoting this verse, pointing out that the primary reason for the Lord's descent is to spread the Sankirtan movement. This is famous verse from Bhagavatam describing the avatar for Kali Yuga. And then picking up this thread, the king is asking, why is it that even though it's clearly stated in scripture, the avatar for Kali Yuga, then why is it there are some scholars who don't accept this? The king said, according to evidence given in the revealed scriptures, it is concluded that Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Lord Krishna himself. Why then are learned scholars sometimes indifferent to him? Bachakoye tar kripalesh hoya jare se ta Hare Krishna koriloite pade. The Bhattacharya replied, a person who has received but a small fraction of mercy from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can understand that he is Lord Krishna. No one else can. You need a little bit of mercy. You need a little bit of grace. This is the answer. You can speculate for many ages of time, but actually all it requires is one drop of grace in one instant, and then everything will be revealed. Tar kripa nahe jare panje nahe kene dekile shunile hotare Ishwar namane. If the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not bestowed upon a person, regardless of how learned a scholar that person may be, and regardless of his seeing or listening, he cannot accept Lord Chaitanya as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's really a very peculiar thing, and we're thinking of this very much at the moment. Doesn't matter how intelligent you are, doesn't matter how many scriptures you've studied, doesn't matter, what you have understood or not understood. Doesn't matter. What matters is the grace that has been given to you to understand. So if someone is struggling to understand something, they have to completely change their approach. They have to what they have to research is how they can draw the mercy of the Lord, which will enable them to understand. Cannot continue with their mode of study. That will not help them. Better to pick up a broom and sweep the Lord's house. That will better enable you to understand. Throw away your books. Pick up a broom. But the thing is, even to understand that requires some mercy. Because you can try to tell them, but they won't understand that.
Because some pride is there, right? We're blocking.
Well, the veil, the Lord has a veil. He puts the veil there. So, yes, sure, pride is there. In order to attract the Lord's grace, we must be free of pride. Otherwise, the veil of Maya is there, obscuring.
As here, like human beings, like knowledge is the highest what we know, right? Like so powerful knowledge.
Well, love is always above knowledge. I was listening to this talk yesterday of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and I was so happy because it's something which I've thought and observed many times, but I haven't heard anything mentioned from our gurus. But he said exactly what I've always thought. He said that intellect without love is madness. You see that with very brilliant people. They can go mad, with their intellect. Literally they can go mad. And he said, intellect without love is madness. And then he said, the intellect must be balanced by sacrifice. Wow. Intellect must be balanced by sacrifice.
But then you can say that renunciation, right? Is sacrifice the same as renunciation?
When Srila Sridhar Maharaj uses the word sacrifice, he usually means it in the sense of dedication.
Yeah. I read also something yesterday, like you have, because we are molecular particle of Krishna, you have to become like that with Krishna, otherwise there cannot be any interaction. I don't know if I make it clear. Like, you have to have that taste for that to be able to Mahaprabhu, Gurudev, to be like that also. But they have given, I don't know, I don't make myself.
Well, there has to be some purification. Maybe that's what you're saying.
Of course, purification.
Like you have to see that as like the good thing. Like you have to see those like that way of being or that and that is a good you honour that kind. You have to have some honour for that kind.
Have some what?
Some honour for that kind of mood, maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, just to what did he say? To love that, to love everything about that, to have that love and of course want to sacrifice everything for that because it's so wonderful.
Well, love means sacrifice.
Yeah,
Srila
yeah,
Sridhar
yeah.
Maharaj has also explained that. Real love means to dedicate oneself, to offer oneself in service. So, the intellectual approach, it must be tempered by the serving attitude. Out of actual there must be some actual service necessity there. Otherwise, madness. And now this is a famous verse of Lord Brahma. Atapi te deva padambunja dvai prashadale shanu grahita evahi janati tattvam bhagavan mahimno nachanye ekopi chidam vichinvam. My Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years. My Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand the Lord are unable to understand you, are unable to know you, even if they continue to study the Vedas for many years. Raja kohe sobe Jagannath na dekiya, Chaitanya vasa grihe cholila daya. The king said, instead of visiting the temple of Lord Jagannath, all the devotees are running toward the residence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Bhatta koheto sabhavika premadita Mahaprabhu milibade utkantita chitta. Sarvabhauma replied, this is spontaneous love. All the devotees are very anxious to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Age tare mili sobe tare sange loya, tar sange Jagannath dekibe nagiya. First the devotees will meet Mahaprabhu and then take him with them to the temple to see Lord Jagannath. Rajakohe Bhavanander Putra Vaninath Prashad Loya Sange Chole Panchasat. The king said, the son of Bhavananda Rai, named Vaninath, along with 5 or 7 other men, went there to obtain the remnants of Lord Jagannath's food. Mahaprabhu aloye korilo gaman, eta mahaprasad jahi kohoki kanan. Indeed, Vaninath has already gone to the residence of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and has taken a huge quantity of Mahaprasad. Why aren't they fasting? And why are they not first going to the Jagannath temple? These are all the normal conventions of pilgrimage. Bhatta kohe bhakta ganailo janiya Prabhu ingite prasad jaita loya. Sarvabhauma said, understanding that all the devotees have come, Lord Chaitanya gave the sign, and therefore Vaninath and the others have brought such great quantities of Mahaprasad. Rajakohe upavas Kshortirter vidan tahana koriya kene kaiboanapan. The king then asked the Vatsacharya, why have the devotees not observed the regulations for visiting the pilgrimage place, such as fasting, shaving, and so on? Why have they first eaten prasadam? Bhatta kohe tumije koho se vidi dharma He raga marge ache shukshma dharma marma. The Bhattacharya told the king, what you have said is right according to the regulative principles governing the visiting of holy places, but there is another path, which is the path of spontaneous love. According to those principles, there are subtle intricacies involved in the execution of religious principles. Ishwarer parokshagya kshora uposhan. So there's what you've described, he's telling the king, this vidi dharma, but there is another path, that is raga marg, the path of rules and regulations and the path of natural attraction, spontaneous attraction of the heart. The scriptural injunctions for shaving and fasting are indirect orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, when there is a direct order from the Lord to take prasadam, Naturally, the devotees take prasadam as their first duty. Taho upavaschaha nahi mahaprasad, Prabhu agya prasad jage hoya parad. When mahaprasad is not available, there must be fasting. But when the Supreme Lord directly orders one to take prasad, neglecting such an opportunity is offensive. Visheshe Shrihaste Prabhu kore pariveshan, etalabha chadikon kore uposhan. When Mahaprabhu is distributing prasadam with his transcendental hand, who will neglect such an opportunity and accepts the regulative principle of fasting? There was one time when it was the morning after Janmashtami, and so right, you're fasting all day, right, on Janmashtami. We were up till midnight, and then Gurudev, of course, was up as usual. He was up at midnight as well. I think he even went down to the temple. This was in Dumdum Park. And then he was still up early, as he usually was, and I managed to make it. And there were just a few of us. I think it was me and Vrinda and one or two others who we'd been up at midnight too. But then it was like maybe 5 or 6 in the morning, and we saw Gurudev. And Gurudev distributed some Mahaprasad and through Gopal. But the ladies would make so many offerings, so they'd like offer 108 preparations. So many local ladies would come. So there were like these special pots of like very special prasad, and Gopal handed some out to the few of us that were there. But I was so foolish because I didn't realize at the time that Gurudev had personally told Gopal, and I thought Gopal was just handing it out to us, and I felt so embarrassed, like to eat in front of Gurudev. So I sat there with the pot, just sitting there, and Gurudev was like looking at me, and then when I was going out, then he like looked at the pot, and I felt so embarrassed, and I told him, "Oh, Gopal gave this to me," But then later on, I realized that Gurudev had personally told Gopal, to give us that prasad. So it was actually coming directly from Gurudev. And then I was feeling so foolish because, like the Mahabhagavad Vaishnava is personally giving you prasad. You're supposed to immediately take that, immediately honor that. And that day in our Chaitanya Charitamrita class, we heard that pastime. Here, Sarvabhauma's remembering it here also. When Mahaprabhu arrives to his door, like personally gives him the prasadam of the deity. And this in Sarvabhauma, he's just getting out of bed. Mahaprabhu is coming after Mangalarati, and he just gets out of bed without washing his mouth, bathing, nothing. He just takes that prasadam and immediately takes it. And Mahaprabhu is overjoyed because normally, like according to Brahminical practice, before you take anything, then you have to, cleanse yourself. And Mahaprabhu is overjoyed because now Sarvabhauma is appreciating this mood of Ragamarg. And Mahaprabhu, this like natural, spontaneous exchange that, the Lord is personally handing you some Mahaprasad, it's a heart offering, then immediately you must take that. And then so Mahaprabhu said, "Today I have conquered the 3 worlds," because now Sarvabhauma has so much faith in Mahaprasad.
I remember also in Navadvip when we would come, or actually all the time there was the question, did you take prasadam?
Right.
Always when we arrived, did you have prasadam? Take prasadam.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was like a sentence, but it was always sounding.
Yeah.
Did you take prasad?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes personally sending prasad to devotees. Didi had a very sweet experience like that, where she was in the prasadam hall, and Gurudev's servitor brought her like specially prasadam that Gurudev had sent for her. Yeah, it was a very it's like Janardhan Maharaj always says, like being in Gurudev's association was like living Chaitanya Charitamrita. Like in the same way that we see here, the exchange of prasad is a very, it's like a, it's a theme, it's something quite prominent, it's a way of exchanging love with the devotees, and we saw that so much with Gurudev. I'm sure Saraswati has lots of stories too.
Gurudev was eating some Sunday in his bowl, and he had made two, and he took one from there, gave it to me and said, "Go and give this to the Radharani, Radharani, that's come back." From his bowl.
Wow, so
He was
beautiful.
always distributing, actually.
Yes.
In the veranda all the time to everyone, really prasad. He loved to see everyone honoring prasad.
Yes. Yeah, he liked just to watch.
Yeah.
I remember one time I can't remember what day it was. I think it was kind of like in Bengali festival day when they distribute free sweets. Do you remember that? And it was on his new veranda, and I happened to be there. And so they called all the devotees to come, and Gurudev just laying on his bed, watching everybody. He just lay there watching he had his servants like hand out sweets to everyone, and he was just laying there watching everybody. So loving, so loving. Okay, well, I think it's a good place to stop. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai, Shri Krishna's Haridash Goswami Jai.
He will also like to accept from the devotees their offerings. Because the devotees want to offer to him, and he would just love to also accept that offering very happily to please the devotees.
Right.
Right? It was very nice exchange, very sweet exchange.
You were mentioning utsaha, as translated as determination, but it is also enthusiasm, right?
No, Srila Sai Maharaj he didn't just pick out the word determination. He quoted the first few words of the verse. Utsaha nishchaya daryat. Utsaha, as you said, is enthusiasm. Nishchoy is conviction or confidence. Then daryat is determination or patience. So he was picking out the word darya. But he just quoted the first few words. Okay. Jai Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Goswami Jai. Whose turn is it to sing?
Mohini. Your turn.